Hello, everyone. I'm seeing live on my end, so it looks like I'm saying hi to you now. So thank you for tuning in. For everyone that's just jumping on quick, this is Terribly Live. Got the co-host Drake coming at you right now. And make sure that you get on live chat right away. We don't want to be on top chat. And please give a big old thumbs up and subscribe. So Tara, I'll let you take it away now.
Are you seriously seeing live? I see no live.
We are live.
There is no red square on my screen. This is really scary. So I want to make sure that it's going though. Do you have the chat?
I will pull it up, but I'm instantly thinking, oh boy, can we ever trick some of our more shy friends?
Yeah, it's literally it's literally not showing that we're live. Isn't that crazy?
Live section.
Wow, crazy. Well, welcome everybody. Sorry about that. That was a crazy intro. Thanks for Drake taking over on that because it does not even say live on my end. So welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. Let me get chat pulled out. We got Mountain Sky here today. How are you tuning in? Well, let's get on this. So Drake and I decided to have a little sesh with you all this morning. We've had guests on the last two shows, so make sure you go back and check those out. We talked with Breeder Steve this last episode. It was a great episode. So today we decided we'd have a little sesh with our friends and get to chat with you guys because when we have guests on, we don't always get to talk to you and answer questions. So it'd be kind of a nice little chill and chat this morning with you. Drake, should we go in on a morning dab? Should we start that off first?
Yeah, I got some what is this, gelato lined up, I believe. I just noticed I put the lid on wrong, but I know the consistency. So we'll go in and we'll hit a little bit of some terpy gelato and see what we make of it. It'll be a good starter. I had a pretty busy morning so far. I was up early. We've got a puppy that had a little cut on his foot. Little Mahudu got a cut late last week, and we've been taking him to the vet and dealing with it. So we had him down there early this morning. And while I was in the reception, I was just standing in line talking with the receptionist, I got this odd pain in my arm. And I pulled up my hoodie, and nonetheless, I was visited by a bug I had just identified yesterday. I don't know how well this is going to show, but I got a good little swelling and some bruising going on there. And it was specifically it's an assassin bug, and it's called the kissing bug here in BC. And they're about an inch long, 3/4 of an inch or so. And they deliver a pretty good little bite. It's not insanely painful, but they have a venom or something like that they inject into you, and it definitely irritates the spot. So I'm ready for a nice dab to alleviate some of that pain and go on from there.
Awesome, Drake. That sucks though. Good God.
I'm a little jaded. I'm a little jaded. I found this bug yesterday. I reached out to our amazing homie 710 Canuck to figure out what it was and if it's a good guy or bad guy. And it was on the fence, but they can bite us. So I decided to leave it outside. I didn't destroy them, but I put them on the roses because I read up on them, and you can devour aphids. And we've got some aphids on some of the roses that we've been playing with. So I threw them out there, and not even 12 hours later, I like to think it's the same guy, and he's back, and he made it inside. He infiltrated, and he bit me. So next time it's war.
Well, there's a whole nest of them. You're gonna have lots of them. All right. Well, I'm gonna go in on this duct tape. It's a heck of a good one. I got DT written on the bottom there, so I can know which one it is. That's the only problem with having like all of these rosins. They all kind of look similar, so it's hard to tell which one's what. And I wish the name was on the jars. It would be nice because there are certain cultivars that I like to hit in the morning, which is this duct tape. And there are certain cultivars that I like to hit in the evening, and which is the LA Kush. I have an LA Kush that I really, really like to hit. And it's just amazing, totally amazing. So, and also if you're tuning in today, make sure that you have live chat on and not top chat so you can chat with us and not miss any comments. And
ooh. Burpee. Oh, that was nice.
Ready.
Getting ready for my good old paper towel tech because there's just too many Q-tips. The old plunger. It's cool if your banger fits right, you can just do the spinning banger and you hold the paper towel still.
How do you not burn your thumb?
Well, my low temp tech. There we go. That sounded backwards. My low temp tech definitely helps with that because the banger never gets scorching. So like even here, I can definitely touch it quickly without burning myself. And the way you spin her in there, you just keep working your fingers back up. So you ideally don't ever touch it. But yeah, that's a great point. If you're doing red hot bangers and cool offs, you may want to be a little cautious. It's holding me right here. It's like 90% cough, 10% able to talk, and I'm just holding on.
Cheers, everyone.
Woo. Yeah, it's been super exciting around both of our places lately. We've got so much on the go. Like you mentioned, the last couple of podcasts were great. Breeder Steve is incredible to just talk and talk and talk. Prior to that, we had Sarah Russo on going over her 10 herds for the apocalypse. That was a really good episode. If you're not familiar with Sarah Russo, you need to check her out. She is definitely a kick-ass woman doing a lot of awesome stuff. So be sure to tune into those episodes. And then for us, we are just slaving here for our farming practices. We're getting used to everything. We're getting taught up on how to apply stuff and how to do the proper, have a proper regimen, so on and so forth. But when you're new to something and you're as ADD as someone like myself, it takes a long time to kind of get in that structure and get in the routine. But really proud of ourselves. We're both doing quite well and can't wait to keep showing everyone out there and hopefully encouraging people to do the same.
Heck yeah. Welcome in. How are you today? Hey, Bingo. What's up? What's up? Time for a bong rip. It sure is. I hope y'all are happy and high out there this morning. Also, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. We really appreciate when you come in. It helps us get the information out.
Sure does.
And also don't forget to share and subscribe if you're not already, and hit that bell. Because we like you to be here, right?
We can't forget, we were all over last night and we hopped over on Fumador's channel and there was Chris Trump over there. So be sure to go check that out. We had some fun over there and got some cool farming information and screwed around all in one. It was a good time. So
it was a great time talking to Chris Trump over there on Fumador's show. It was really cool talking with him about Jadam. That he said the only two insecticides that we need are the ginkgo biloba and the sunchoke, which of course I have a ginkgo biloba leaf right here.
Nice. Yep, that was definitely very cool. And then specifically when we can get those nozzles that are super foamy, it really eliminates the severity of any of the pests that are usually harder to get rid of.
Exactly.
Yeah, mind my word.
On my little top square, it still does not say live. So it's got me really weirded out right now. Yeah, I'm just like really weird.
Got the heebie-jeebies?
Yeah, it's kind of odd. I'm like, whoa. So anyways, if anybody would like to come on and chat today, if you got any questions about Jadam or natural farming, we would love to have you come in and hang out in the chat today. I'm just going to put the link out there if anybody would like to join us. I kind of think it's a cool idea to do that every now and then to see if anybody wants to actually hop on and meet people. I think it's a good time to meet the cannabis community and those that are hanging out and chat. What a good time to meet people.
And network, that's what this is all about. We've been loving it so far, and we're continue the same trend. So let's all keep doing our best to expand this network and converse with each other. As Tara said before, we love the chat. Everyone's so interactive, and same with these different channels all over. We're finding lots of similar names and similar people chatting with each other. So it's a lot of fun. I love being there. I mean, I'm not the most linguistic, so usually you'll just see a couple ducks, maybe a taco and some mushrooms from me, but I'm there, I'm watching, and I'm enjoying it nonetheless. So much love, everyone. It's time for another dab. And hey, maybe I'll pop into the garden a little bit later and just give a little rundown from the phone or something. Quick little tour, little sneak peek.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I was like, speaking of some fungi, I think I heard you say mushrooms. I've been microdosing in the evening, and I'm finding that it's really helping me sleep. I was curious to know if anybody else is having that experience out there. Drake, are you?
So I have always been one that never had an issue necessarily falling asleep under the influence of any sort of fungi. Even at the larger than the average dose, so no microdosing at like say 1 or 2 grams. So it's a fairly cerebral and pretty like minor hallucinations, so on and so forth. It's never been an issue. Never had a problem falling asleep. If anything, I found it's like I can sleep easier and just falling into like just a beautiful ocean of blankets, and then you just have like these crazy kind of not lucid dreams, but just you kind of lose that line between when you're still awake and when you go to sleep, and then when you get to wake up and think about it, it's very interesting. And with microdoses specifically, sorry to ramble on, I find if anything they help. I'm not extremely adamant or extremely routined right now, which I should be. I'm not saying I shouldn't. I'm just not, full disclosure, with doing it. I like a baseline. I like morning and evenings. But go ahead, Tara.
Oh, good luck, Ian. He's working on his car right now. He's got his fingers crossed. Hope he'll be driving it later.
Never ends. It never ends.
Never ends.
Hopefully yours is nothing like mine, and maybe it'll end one day.
Yeah, Drake's is always in the shop.
Which one?
Yeah. Which car?
Oh,
the money pit. Tacos and mushrooms. Yeah, Grace says that. Awesome. What's up, Stu? How are you? Welcome. What's going on? How's your guys' grows going? What are you guys puffing on today? Is anybody puffing with us this morning? I might go in on another one. Actually, you know what? I have a little bit in here. I put quite a bit in there. I have a little bump. Let's do a bumper. Let's bump that. Do a little
All right.
start.
I won't argue with you. And speaking of bump, I keep watching my bump. For anyone that's just tuning in, I was at the vet earlier and got bit by a kissing bug, which is just a form of the assassin bug. Some assassin bugs or wheel bugs are very beneficial for us, and we want them around. This one specifically isn't necessarily bad, but just with their mannerisms and how they are, I was advised to not bring it into my indoor garden. Left it outside on the roses. Next morning, here I am at the vet and I get bit. So I've got a pretty large bump that's got a little bit of bruising and stuff showing up on it. And it's been about 40 minutes since that happened. It's not extremely painful at all, but it's kind of cool to witness. But
put some reclaim on it.
I actually was already poking it with that. That's what I was doing. So I was
gonna say, put reclaim on there, by the way. If you take and put a little bit of like coconut oil or olive oil and mix it in with that reclaim, you can put it on all kinds of sores. Little different things that people have put it on.
Yep, there's a bunch of different uses for the nomenclature, Fried. That's for sure. I'm going in. What am I hitting this time? I believe. See, it's a liar. That's a lying lid. It's coma. Going in on comatose.
Cheers, Canna fam. Keeper of the strains. How are you today? What's up? Hey, Cass. Did I see Cass come in?
Oh, nice.
What's up, Cass?
We were all chilling last night.
Yeah, I was going to say, come on up and join the show if you guys want. The link's in the chat there if you want. We're just hanging today. Just kind of a nice little chill and chat today. Thought we'd take it nice, little easy, and kind of wake and bake with y'all. Hang out. It is going to be hot today. I went out this morning. Oh, by the way, look, I picked my flowers today. I love these flowers. Oh my gosh, here. So these flowers in the back, these big ones, they grow all the way down the stem. I've actually cut this whole stem off. This whole part was all flowers. Wow. And they're actually about as tall as I am.
What are they called?
I knew you were going to ask me that as soon as I started talking about
they're
it.
Not the lupins they're not that,
no,
right?
They're not lupins. No, they're
beautiful, whatever. It doesn't necessarily matter the name, but
I'll remember it here in a minute. And then these roses that are in here, these purple ones.
What are those?
Oh my God, these purple roses just smell amazing. Look at them. They're so pretty.
Are very pretty.
Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I just love picking my own flowers and having all the flowers in here by me. Oh, they smell so good.
That'd be $40 at the store.
A lot more than $40. I don't know what florist you go to.
Or we just get to do it ourselves. It's even more fun growing them than harvesting them sometimes.
Why can't I think of the name of that right now? It's driving me crazy.
It'll come eventually.
foxglove. No, it's not foxglove, but foxglove is really pretty. I like foxglove too. Gingerbread. Welcome. How are you?
Oh, nice. Cheers.
She's attacking some bracken. Awesome. Bracken. I don't have any by me. I have to go drive and go get some.
I have some, I'm thinking not too far away. I've got a couple key spots that I've been planning to go to. And now that things are slowly starting to open up, as we've done a lot of these foundational principles and got a lot of our fertilizer and all this other stuff kind of on the go and out of the way, and got the know-how for some of like our things that we do weekly. So it gives us a bit more time and freedom to get out there and do some exploring and kind of connect a bit more with nature and find some of these things, for example, like the bracken fern, which is, again, if you don't have access to ginkgo biloba, which you might because they're around, and if you don't have access to sunchokes, which you probably do because they grow everywhere, the bracken fern is also something that's most places. And again, it's very specific. There's obviously lots of places it doesn't grow, but it's common for a lot of people to be able to find easily. And it's a very effective insecticide as well, allegedly. I haven't used it personally and I can't wait to, but that's what we read. And that's what others who have done this for a lot longer than ourselves are saying. So excited for that. Do some adventuring.
Sorry, it's distracting. I start laughing because the chat's making me laugh over here.
See, and I have to.
I know, and you think I'm laughing because of
what
you're
was it?
saying.
Yeah, what
Or what's on my
say, Kara?
face? What's supposed to?
Try to keep in sync,
Oh
so
my
it's.
God. What's up, Wild? How are you today? Oh, cheers, West Coast stoners. Yes, yes, yes. How are you? How are you? What's everybody puffing on today? Are y'all smoking joints? Or you're hitting out of a bowl? What are you doing? Tell me what you're smoking, how you're smoking it. Yeah, how are you smoking it? I would really like to know who is a joint smoker, who prefers pipes, who likes to dab. That'd be cool. I'd like to know that. Hey, it's 420 somewhere, y'all. Let's hit it. I need another one. I need some lemon though in my life. I gotta find some lemon. I got a little bit more of, I got a lemon in here somewhere. Where's it at? See, this is the problem. I don't know which one it is.
See, I need some lemon too. Everything I've got is kind of on the opposite spectrum right now, aside from one, but it is far too high of terpene to full spectrum, or terpene to cannabinoid ratio, or however I need to say it. It's far too caustic. So I'm avoiding that one kind of like the plague right now, because it has taken my throat in round 5 and it won. So I need a little break from that.
So this is lemon do-si-do. Here is the terpene profile on the side of the box. Give it just a minute. It will focus, maybe.
Down at the laptop. Sorry, I don't look up at the camera, but hey, who wants to look at?
Come on, focus, baby. There we go.
Clickbait.
Beta caryophyllene, D-limonene, beta myrcene, linalool, and alpha humulene. 74.35 total. There you go. All right. And it is this beautiful one. There's also one called Lemon Juicy that's a lot more lemony. And I actually think I like this one better.
So you got the lemon juicy and Red's got the lemon squishy.
Yeah, lemon juice lives short. But this one is higher in the linalool, and that's why I like it. It's less caustic, I think, on the throat. Like it feels, it's a little bit more soothing. I really like linalool.
And linalool is one of the main constituents in lavender, correct?
Yes.
So it's kind of going to have a little bit more of that kind of like floral, but not earthy floral, like that actual like flower floral.
Exactly.
To it. So that's cool, because that's where I really have a loss myself. Is between the two specific, well, I shouldn't say too specific, but between the kind of different floral notes and the ones pertaining to like flowers. So you get some rose, which I haven't specifically found in cannabis, which I'm really looking for, because I think that would be fantastic, because I'm a big fan of the rose scent. But then you get more, then you get more of like, around here we had a lot of GCG, some Bubba's, some what was there's one other really renowned one, but they have this similar S profile, this twine that comes off the back, and it's even comes off of some of the product that's got a proper drying, maybe not cure, but proper dry nonetheless. And it's got this earthy, it's got this kind of grassy floral, if that makes sense, the more like that, or those
Mhm.
earthy notes that are a little bit more reminiscent of a quick dry, in my opinion. Now, they're not the same, and I'm sure someone that was a bit more of a connoisseur had the palate for that specific group of flavors and terpenes, so on and so forth, would be able to really differentiate between them. But for me, it kind of gets the same class, and I kind of just get that little bit of that, like, just like nostalgic of uncured product amidst the other notes are in there. You know, I know the product is decent itself, but yeah, it's one that's never been up there along with the cheeses. And I think I'm similar with you there. I don't think you're too crazy on the cheese smell, but we both like the cheese effects, right?
Yeah, the cheese effect is nice, or the gassy effect.
They hit.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually
They are
don't
heavy
mind the
hitters.
gassy profile. That's where we differ. You're
Yeah,
not a big fan.
yeah.
Where I don't
Yeah.
mind the twang.
Yeah, I don't. And okay, so okay, a lot of people. Let's talk about way people describe terpenes for just a minute, because we really need to start talking and describing these things proper. And why we're talking about this is because you all know when you've been taught something wrong, how hard it is to relearn it. And so it's so cool that we're all kind of learning about cannabis together as a society. You know, if you really think about it, we're all really learning this together around the world. There's nothing like this right now anywhere, if you think about it. Everything's already been kind of, you know, worked with and discovered and, you know, studied. And right now, this is like fresh, you know? And so it's so important that we all get on kind of the same definition of these words and kind of talk all the same, so that we know that what we're describing to you and me means the same. So like, I wouldn't say, hey, I got this gassy flavor and it be lemon. You know, I'm going to want to describe it as a lemon so that you know that it's going to be a lemon flavor. So back in the day, how I understand gassy or diesel is it's just anything that was just a heavy smell. It's not that it smelled like diesel. It's not that it smelled like gasoline, you know, it's just that it was a heavy hitter or a smeller. And so I think that's something that we need to talk about.
There's a lot of swap overs things that are, if you're familiar with purple kush or pink kush or any of these, maybe not necessarily, but this is even like a PK, just the average purple kush. Sometimes you get those and they could get that profile. So it just really kind of tingles and stings your nose because it's just really heavy. And a lot of time that gets used, in my experience, what I've seen is a very gassy cultivar. But then when you get something that's like a, grease monkey or something that's actually got some of these notes of a fuel or a diesel or some sort of like odd, like you sipped out of the wrong bottle at the shop kind of profile, it's quite like a stark difference. And another thing is it's so individualized, like it's so specific to each and every one of us. We all perceive these things very differently. So there's certain things like with flavors, there's that, I believe saffron, where a bunch of people think it tastes like soap, and a bunch, and that, I don't know if that's a genetic thing or what it comes down to, most likely, but irregardless, there's a lot of ways we all perceive things as individuals. So what's nice is when we can start to get testing on things, even though we're finding now lots of this testing is kind of not as well-rounded as it should be, and probably a little bit more gray areas than when we're thinking, but irregardless, pushing with being able to work with testing and have the different actual terpenes like you just showed off. It doesn't matter really what you think it smells or tastes like, and you're going to be able to tell us, and we're all going to be able to take that as crucial information, but we can all see of what specific numbers. So like in the context of, if you were able to get your things tested at the same lab, you would then be able to get some form of repeatability. If you're like, okay, well, this one's got a bunch of limonene and this one's got only linalool or humulene or beta caryophyllene or whatever you've got, you're going to be able to kind of narrow down maybe what works best for you. And that comes down to, simple things like, I just need to be able to go to work all day, so I need to make sure my certain cultivar has these, and then I want to go to bed at night. Or it could be a lot more serious, like, oh, my very specific condition in which is really impairing my daily life is solved by this specific compound and this ratio of them I'm finding. And, we can just really work forward. So again, rambling on it, but I think it's super beneficial to have the actual kind of constituents of what's in there, so we can all see like, okay, this is the names of what I'm looking for, and maybe even the percentages to work with a little bit. And then this is how this person that I really look up to perceives it. They really take this one that's got this, this, and this as this lemony awesome one. And then they're also saying this one's kind of fuely. So then you can work on it and try it yourself. And you may be like, huh, they got lemon from this? Weird. It's totally
and it is. It's just like a lot of people will taste different wines, if you take the wine industry. And you'll taste it and you'll be like, oh, well, this tastes like this, or oh, this tastes like this. And I'll be like, how did you get that taste out of it? Like, so it is really like personal preference. I also feel like it's really sad to talk about the not being able to smell the product before you purchase it, because I feel like your nose knows. I mean, what you like, you know what you like to smell, There's been a few times, though, I will tell you, that I have smelt it and then I've hit it and it's hit so much cleaner, or it has this much beautiful, bolder flavor to it than it smelt like out of that jar or in the dab rig thing, or in the dab little jar that it was in. So sometimes it's not until you smoke it that some of those flavors come out too. So maybe it's not the same. And then I also saw a comment here in chat. He says, so the smell has to do with the cure and freshness. So there's a lot to do with smell and flavor. And it starts, one, with picking the correct cultivar. You definitely have to have the cultivar that has the flavors, or you're not going to get the flavors that you like in the beginning. So obviously, let's take that one out. And then two, how you're growing it. Okay, this is super, super important. They're finding that all these things are mattering under the sun and microbes, blah, 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 blah. Go ahead.
Chris,
yes, just last night.
Humidor's channel. Go check it out if you're just tuning in. We're all over there hanging out. It was awesome. But I brought up just the diversity of secondary metabolites and compounds that are in the cannabis itself when it's grown with a very diverse system, be it how you make, because there's multiple ways to go about diverse systems. And then after all of that, as Mountain brought up, if there's not a proper drying condition, it's that game over. If you have a cultivar that's really, really high in these heavier terpenes, so not the ones that just volatilize off right away as soon as you take them out of ideal conditions. So everyone probably has think of that one cultivar that it's like you could grow it, throw it on the racks, let it sit out. It's in the 30% in 80 degrees, and it still danks when you cut it open. That one's a very specific cultivar. Most you need to give them their ideal conditions, and just for ballpark, say 60 degrees, 60% humidity. And that's just a rough rule of thumb. And then just slow cure it in that environment with light, nice airflow, but not too direct on there. And over 7 to, let's say, 14 days, depending the size of your parameters, you'll have a properly dried product. That product will now be so much higher and so much more potent smelling. It'll be higher in actual terpene content, because when you dry it properly, and now we're going more, and this is in my mind, I'm sure we can have someone that can really give us the science behind it, but when you cure them properly, you're allowing the surface of the glands, of the trichomes, actually to kind of like harden over. You're allowing, just because of the proper moisture content in it, and the amount of time in which it's absorbing. It's not just sucking them out like raisins. It's actually forming like a little crust over top of them, is my layman way of imagining it. And thus it's actually protecting the lovely oil and all the goodies that we want in there, the terpenes, so on and so forth. So then when you have that product and you grind it up in, say, a few weeks or a month down the road, just from doing that proper dry, not even getting into cure, you still have a product that's retaining a lot of the flavor and a lot of the smell. Go ahead, Dara.
I think the easiest way to relate this to people who maybe don't understand it is literally taking a grape. Y'all know what a grape and a raisin is, or a cranberry and a craisin, right? So drying in any one of those, like a grape, and that outer shell gets kind of harder. And if it dries and it's kept at the right consistency, and it's kept at a moisture content, that raisin stays kind of nice and pliable, and you can still kind of eat it. But if you leave it out on the counter for a week, it's going to like maybe chip your tooth when you go to eat that thing. It's like a hard nugget sugar,
Not as juicy, not as
So
flavorful.
yeah, so that's exactly what happens to your weed because you have a whole bunch of those little grapes on there.
I like it. That's a good. I love our layman ways of running things out because that's how I perceive them. And then we can have, like I said, smarter people come in and educate us as to how it really does work. But yeah, that's a great rundown, and that's how I see it, and it makes sense. And it's.
And then the other thing to interpret too, I also would really like to talk about trimming. Okay, so trimming your weed. I believe you should not trim your weed wet. Okay, so there's a lot of reasons why I believe this. When you trim that, they're opening, you're cutting that off, and all this nasty chlorophyll is coming out. The chlorophyll is not what you want to taste. Sorry, it's the chlorophyll tastes like shit. It's not the chlorophyll. Yeah, and so I believe that it cuts it, and it like, and you're cutting all those heads and everything. So what they're talking about is this farm cut flower. Have you seen this farm cut? They're talking about this down in California right now on Bryceland Farms. I'll bring it up here in just a little bit. But they're basically showing, just like when you hang a flower upside down, y'all know when you hang your weed upside down, how it encapsulates that, and it like encapsulates all those trichomes, and it folds right over there naturally, and it holds all those trichomes on there. And it's super important that those aren't getting banged around, because by the time you get your weed and they trim all that stuff off, there's no trichomes on half that shit.
And that is a good kind of on the opposite hand for the dry trimming too, which I fully condone and do as well. I have seen product come nicely from wet trims, and everyone, each to your own. But there's numerous good reasons that Tara mentioned as to maybe work with the dry. But for the dry, you have to be very delicate with it too. You're not in there, and this isn't a conventional, like you're just holding the nug and so you're doing like a spin and you're throwing them in the bucket and just like going through it like this production scale kind of $15 an hour mindset sort of thing. Or minimum wage sort of thing. I shouldn't give it a price, whatever minimum wage is, whatever places. But anyways, it's something you want to take time and precision, and like, we're only holding the stock. And if you're giving it ideal conditions and you kind of do your preemptive work ahead of time, you really don't have a whole ton, cultivar specific too, but you really don't have a whole ton of plant material that you have to remove as well. And it's super neat because, as Tara mentioned, when you're now drying this, say if we're hang drying and we're not dry trimming, you hang this product, you've removed a large amount of your fan leaves and everything prior, and you've now let those set in your beds, or you've used them as fertilizer if you're indoor or outside for their numerous benefits. But now you've moved on, you're letting it dry, those fan leaves go down, they encompass the bud, they kind of protect it. You have you need some airflow in there, which is nice, but you wouldn't want to have things knocking into each other. You wouldn't want to have things bouncing off. And even just say the airflow could maybe just that one trichome that's just on the tip of its little neck, it might break off, and that's the one trichome you don't want to lose. So now you've got this lovely fan leaves protecting them a little bit. And once it all does its thing, they also contribute to the moisture as well. Sorry, I kind of backstepped on myself there, but that's another reason why I do leave some and like having them there for the dry, because it adds to the time and the duration that it will take for the humidity of the product itself, stem, leaf matter, and flower to acclimate and to slowly rise. So then we're kind of slowing the things down as much as possible because we're adding a little bit of that leaf material there. And then when it gets to trim time, lots of them you literally can just poke with the tip of this scissor, and they just break off right at the stem if they're in the same context that I've seen. But Tara, I'll let you describe a little bit more about what you're showing us here from Bryceland Forest Farms.
See, look at that. Did you see how that was cut? Can I pause that? Let's see. Let's go back if I can pause that where that was.
See if we can get her right on the minute.
Yeah, let's see. There you go. They're calling it farm cut.
Farm cut.
And there you go. If you can see that. Let me do this. Let me stop sharing, and then let me do the other Zoom and on share. Let's do that advanced share here. Let's see if get this right. Nice. So let's get that just right. Yeah, here we go.
Okay, and now
there you go.
Now, yeah, when I see this is kind of this is what essentially lots of the product, cultivar specific, really looks like after you've let it dry in that manner I was speaking about. I would imagine, just from the looks of this, you've plucked off those fan leaves very, very gently and carefully, and now you've that's what you're left with. But depending on how you're growing it, the cultivar and many other factors, all those little leaves and everything that's left on that product, you're probably not going to want to throw away. Like most, that's a large reason, I think, and personally, maybe I'm perceiving this wrong, but a lot of the reason why you do this kind of this style, this farm cut. And when they say farm cut, it's usually farmer's cut. And that means when you come to the farms of any of these, you get like the nicest bud you see out there, especially if it's one of these regenerative farmers or someone that's really in touch with their plants in their garden. You go to one of their farms and you don't see this Cali trimmed, just super refined product in jars that they're puffing on generally. I'd say 7 to 8 times out of 10, you're seeing this farm cut, this farmer's cut. And that's because why would they, unless they're really anal and doing a lot of processing themselves, maybe doing some nice bubble and so on and so forth, and they really just want to utilize all that and just have the bee's knees and it's worth the time. But generally, you're going to have that farm cut product because it's still just so caked in trichomes. You're going to want to keep it. Could you bring that picture up one more time? Just
Sure
saying
can.
that made me think of something that we can throw out there, which will be good.
Absolutely. There you go.
Okay, so now, Tara, if okay, in the top left corner, right by the I imagine the opposite thumb. So we can see the nail of one thumb, and we can see the opposite side of the other thumb. Okay, now right to the left of your cursor, there's that little, it looks like a fan leaf right there. Perfect. Okay. So we've had a whole bunch of conversation about this specific like pieces of plant material like that. A big thing that's talked about often is pistils and calyx. Pistils being what people say the white hairs are, calyx being the little what looks like a little ovule or sac at the bottom, and it's caked in trichomes. That's misnomers. That's incorrect. What we're actually seeing is the stigma hairs. They're stigmas. They're not pistils. We can't see pistils with the human eye. And then with the calyx, we can't see that either. But what's being said now is that we can see the bracts. Well, the bracts aren't necessarily that little piece either. The bracts are more so that little leaf that we were showing, that little leaf that Tara had the cursor on. So like if you're looking at a nice round nug, and there's the little leaves that the trimmers generally, like on a Cali trim, that you would trim off. So not fan leaves. They don't have the stalk sticking out. They don't have the whole structure, but it's more like single leaves sticking out that become essentially fan leaves. And as the leaves get out further and further, because sometimes on these certain cultivars, especially when you grow big colas, they get pretty long single leaflets sticking out of there. You can see the trichome production reduce slowly as it goes out. Now we look back on some older text. We don't have the picture on hand, but it's a little over the top anyways. It's just a demonstration of 1 through H of different plant. Oh, this is one of them, but this one is actually what we found out is semi-incorrect. But it is nice because in the bottom left, above where it says cannabis pistillate flower, it does give us a kind of representation of the bract and brachiole, which is what I was going to jump into. Now we're saying a lot of time that this whole thing is the bract there. That's not necessarily the case. So we will come back and we will bring another picture when it's on hand, and maybe when I let Tara take over here, I can pull it up for us because it would be great to have it on here so we can show you. But essentially, what the actual bract is, like I'm saying,
Go ahead, Drake. Go ahead and pull that picture up. I'll let you do that. Yeah,
you take over. Everyone have a dab.
I'd say it's time for a dab. And you know what? I got stuck on top chat, you all. Oh, I hate that.
Oh, you got top chatted, did you?
I had top chat.
No.
I got top chatted. It means you got to get, every time you have a top chat up, you have to take a dab.
I like it. Yeah, everyone on top chat, you got to medicate right now.
You got to medicate. It's your time.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, Sammy, how you doing? What's up? What's up? How you doing? Yes, yes. You know, and when you do go to the regenerative conference, I will tell you, you see the farm cut. You don't see that whole nasty stuff. You see them pulling out bags of these colas where they're all dried on the thing, and like it's farm cut. And I believe part of the reason that they've kind of went this way is because if they can take all that trim, they can do more, and they can sell more of that trim, and they can get more money, and they can make more money off of that. And then you're getting less of the actual medicine, because the medicine is in the grape. Remember, you guys, it's in the grape that's on the outside of the leaf. It's not in the leaf. It's in the grape. That's why I smoke hash.
Okay, here
Cheers.
I got one for you, Tara, and for everyone out there. I suppose because there's only two
Can we
of us,
share it?
we can't. I sent you the picture, so we'll get into that. But don't share that this second because
Okay.
I just noticed it because I forgot that I took the little video prior to sending you that picture. So rabbit hole back to this assassin bug, this kissing bug of BC. It's called the kissing bug BC. Again, you're not going to have a great representation of it, but just for everyone out there, this was the bugger that bit me. So he's about 3/4 to an inch long, and in their face there, they've got like I believe a little stylet that goes down and pierces you. And generally, they just rip around and they pierce what their prey is, and they inject it with their whatever they got, and then they're able to eat it and so on and so forth. And for people, I believe they'll bite you like a few times in a row if you didn't notice it or if you were asleep. And they like to aim for the face, so they're little buggers. But that was what got me this morning. So now you can have the heebie-jeebies too out there for anyone that's feels that way with the insects. But even then, I didn't kill it. It was far enough away from my house. I just let him go. He was in my jacket. I scared him. He probably thought he was going to die. Like, these insects aren't out there to get you, and lots of the times they're beneficial. And that one specifically, even though they can be bad for humans and have some not so great things about them in their feces or potentially parasite, they do eat aphids and all sorts of stuff. And they're I think they attack some pretty large things. They're pretty crazy, those guys. So look into them, some of the assassin bugs. But all right, if you can.
How about that? Is that all right?
I think that works great.
Okay.
So there, everyone, we can see kind of what I was talking about. This, from our understanding, is a better representation and more accurate of what the I don't know, it's not that, just the different parts of the plants are. And again, I try not to misspeak. So if I'm ever stuttering around, it's because I don't want to be putting misinformation out there. If I ever do, which happens quite often, I'm sure, sorry about that, we always try to amend it after. But anyways, this is what we're looking at, what we're talking about. And if we can go through and see, I suppose, refer to, if we had Tara's cursor there, kind of right in the middle, that one, or even one over to the side of it. There we go. That one is in the middle. What's sticking out is the bract. Now at the bottom, the two little leaflets, those ones, perfect. Those little guys sticking out, those are the brachioles. Now in the cannabis plant, imagine those brachioles are what's the nice tight cannabis leaves. That's how we're perceiving it. And that's what's just caked, completely caked in trichomes and the most resinous material. And then as you get the bracts protruding out and getting further and further away, just by nature, they're less and less covered. Again, cultivar dependent, we've seen these plants that, like, their leaves are like fan leaves are completely caked in trichomes, completely being individual as well. But yeah, very caked in trichomes. So it's just one of those things where if we're trying to get the proper nomenclature out there and we're trying to identify things properly and talk about them, and then even for people, say for producing hash, all you want is the best of the best material. You don't want to necessarily have more plant material, like the actual leaf material itself, to trichomes, because that's just gonna add to the plant material that's in the wash, as opposed to it just being heads. So you want to remove any of those protruding bracts, and then you're left with the brachiole and then some of the main characteristics. So yeah, there you go, everyone. This is the picture we're looking at. I'm sure we can share it out so you can all kind of perceive it as you may, and kind of go more in depth, see where we got it from, see if you agree with it, and then we can chat back. But pretty certain from speaking about this with a few other knowledgeable individuals that this is the way of the road. So hopefully we can start talking about, we can actually see the bracts. Generally, they're too tight in there. We trim off the brachioles. Pistils, nope, they're stigmas. And lots of this is just good for the cannabis industry in a whole, because if we have outsiders that are, say, more rooted in plant science or botany, and they come over, and even if we've got really good intentions and are very educated for people that are not educated in the conventional way, it may just instantly, I want to say, demerit. So that just goes to my lack of linguistics, as I mentioned prior. But yeah, it'll instantly take away from the points you're trying to make, and maybe even for someone that's really anal or so on and so forth, they may not even want to consider chatting with you anymore, because in their mind, some of the basic plant identification has been overlooked. But again, this is just our perception, what we're seeing, and we want to bring everything that we're seeing and chatting about out to the open, so everyone can be on par and give us their thoughts. So I believe it's definitely time for me to take a dab.
Cheers, everybody. And I'm taking a rip. How you doing out there? Thanks, Drake, for all the explanation. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll sneak into the garden, do a little sneak peek after this.
Ooh, that'd be nice. Everybody want to take a garden tour? We'll take a garden tour next.
I'll just bring my phone though, so we'll see. I'm not
Okay.
saying it's going to be a 4K production value, and I'm not even saying you're going to see all of it. But we'll go and we'll take you out there, and we'll show you a little bit for sure. And who knows, maybe I'll get carried away like I usually do.
Well, we love garden tours, as you know. What's up? How's Sis? What's up, Sammy? What you been up to?
We sure do.
Sammy says the Peak Pro is definitely worth it in my opinion. So Sammy, I was just looking the other day because you bought that one. Is it the opal one that you got? Because I was looking and I almost bought it, except for they were out. They only had the black. I really kind of want the opal.
Was there a bit of information about the specific carb cap you want to choose that I recall, or was that pertaining to something different?
Red River has the old Puffco, and apparently the new Puffco, the new carb cap, and I don't know, Sammy, if yours is that way. He said there's a round one that's better. The other one's like a cap and has kind of a different draw, so I'm not really sure. But I hopefully am going to be having one in the future, and then I'll be able to give you my opinion on them, because I have used them. I have friends that have them, of course, and I really do. I really have liked it. But there is really nothing like a good old banger hit. There really isn't. Like, I still like the banger in the end. What's up, Darth? How are you?
Yeah, they're for people who like taking very large dabs. It's definitely better for like a travel piece and something to just make your life easier. It maybe won't be your all day blaster while you're at home. You may still have a little setup with a big old bang.
Yeah. But now we're going to be getting back to traveling, and I'll be able to take it out in the garden. I should have bought one.
Right?
I should have bought one a long time ago. I have that little excavate.
Yeah.
I liked it. I really liked it, but it doesn't take big enough rips for me, and so like I have to take quite a few. If you are a micro dabber, though, it's an amazing for micro dabs. It really is.
Probably even an average dabber, no Tara. Even an average dabber could probably get away with either.
I'm kind of a heavy dabber. What can I say? Well, that's how I medicate. Tom says he's on the porch puffing on some straw nana. Oh, straw nana's yummy, Tom. I'm jelly. That's a good one. I missed that one. I haven't had any good straw nana for a long time. There was some awesome straw nana at the Emerald Cup when we were down there. Ooh, ooh,
straw nana, but D420K has got the super secret strawberry something. It's the SSS strawberry is something I can't remember, and it's pretty crazy and loud and a rather revered cut for around here. So,
is it?
I want to try some more of that flower. Oh yeah, I've seen it. It's been floating around for a long time, and it was neat to hear him or see. I think it was on one of the prior shows. So go back and see when Darren was on. And I believe he was showing us a little tour, and yeah, he brought that up along with his OG and the Gorilla Glue, some Gorilla Glue. But we'll have to check in with him. I think he's got some cool things. The last time we talked, it's been a little while, but there was some neat newer stuff coming in. Like I think there was like a sweet orange or something along those lines that I was super enticed by, and just some really neat ones, and one that was a really funny name. So we'll have to tune in for him to hear the funny named cultivar, but it looked fire.
All right, Jake, you ready to go in the garden? Did you take that rip?
So I'll join the phone.
You took your rip, didn't you? I thought I saw you.
Oh, you bet. You bet I got my rip.
I thought I saw that. What's up? What's up? What's everybody hitting on? Anybody hitting on something new today? Anybody excited for something cool? Anybody getting out there? There's a lot of events going on. There's a lot of stuff going on I see in the future. Chris Trump's throwing some classes out there. Super excited to I might be going up to that class, I don't know, but super excited to just actually get out and start doing some things. I went to the air show, hung out with my niece for the weekend. That was fun. My plants are looking a lot better. Oh my god, they had transplant shock, y'all. I'm too embarrassed to show you my plants right now, to be honest with you. I'll take before and after pictures and I'll show you when they look better. I'm too embarrassed. Moby Dick, that's a good cultivar. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. I had that one 2 years ago. That was awesome. Yeah, that's a good one. Apparently, dick is a bad word and you can't use that on my channel. Not when you're talking about the cultivar. Oh, what's up? What's up? Here we go. Drake's coming in. Oh, there he goes. Now I can screen share him. Yay!
Oh, look at that. We beat the system because
Alright.
there's three of us now because we can't spotlight when there's only 2 people for everyone out there.
I know.
So I won't go too crazy as to outside of the main garden, but we've just got some stuff that's coming along really well, including this grass that was all like really haphazard the last season essentially. So just from getting the additional foundational applications and some of the microbes and everything, we've got some nice healthy lush grass. Like I cut this a couple times a week almost now. It's like once every 5 days. It's pretty wild. And then we just got a couple things. I want this fence to get taken over, and this has lovely flowers throughout quite a bit of the season. Yeah, I got some other pollinator friendly plants, and then we get to go see our real friendly plants. Here we've got the Jerusalem artichokes. Are these lovelies? They will grow extremely tall, and this for me is a brand new plot of not good soil that I've just been treating with some foundational applications as I mentioned prior, and it's pretty incredible to see how everything's taken off, including these potatoes and just some of the natural indigenous plants around here. And everything is just doing great. These trees are taking off. We cured the witch's broom on these trees that were doing really poorly, which is just
what's witch's broom, Drake?
It's kind of like where at one point you'll get a knuckle and then you'll get a bunch of really weird growth all coming off of one specific point. And then the trees were actually like up here, it was starting to like spin around and like knuckle down and be really, really unhappy. And now we can see it's kind of fixed itself up. It still looks a little funky there, but then we got lots of shoots of lovely growth.
It looks new. Yeah, it looks a lot better than the last time I saw it. That's awesome.
I had to take out my shed because we were dealing with some rats, so I had to remove all the duck bedding. So I've removed it here and added one treatment to it of microbes, so on and so forth. Here we've got a whole bunch of pretty large on the bottom to pretty smaller size, just sticks and debris from around the property as well that are all piled there. And I've slowly been stacking some more other material on top of it, but just the indigenous weeds again are taken over, and by applying the microbes and letting it break down, it's great. I'm hoping to get a chipper at one point, and that would be the plan for that pile, so I don't mind letting it do its thing. And then we've got quite a few more because the Jerusalem artichoke, the sunchoke, is so crucial. I've grown quite a bit, and once you grow them once, you've got them. They're like potatoes; they're really hard to get rid of. So be careful and plan them when you're planting, but also know that they're pretty prolific. Mine aren't doing that great as well. This is all of this was it's like a compost pile / indigenous soil / bedding and compost from about a season and a half ago. The people that used to rent next door here brought a machine in and plowed a bunch of this land to make it flat, and then just left a big horrible pile kind of all over there. And then I kind of moved it that direction and separated it into kind of like a compost, nicer kind of just indigenous soil, more rocky soil kind of in between, and then it transitioned into the trees. But again, here we just have more of the sunchokes. Just put those all over the place, as well as some potatoes. This tree is my second favorite tree on the property. It's this whatever type of maple, mind my identification because I'm horrible. It was literally down to like, it all looked like, oh, there we go. Perfect example. It was all pretty well dead except for one little tiny shoot. And you could even see, this is it. It was ripped in half. And all of a sudden, it's just blown up. It's got some foliar treatments. It's got some microbial drenches, and it's loving life. Same thing with this tree. You can see how it corrected itself. So anyways, let's go get to a more.
So it's amazing when you start looking at your trees, how like there's funguses and there's different borers and stuff that are attacking the trees. If you own your own property, you need to really be paying attention to that. Last year, or was it the year before? We actually had to cut part of our tree down because we had some boars attack it and it split it in half. If we wouldn't have cut it down, it probably would have taken our neighbor's trailer out. They have like a fifth wheel or a camper pull trailer by there that would have taken the whole thing out and part of our shop, maybe, you know. So it's really important when you have land that you're taking care of it and you're respecting it and you're making sure that it doesn't have all these viruses and funguses. Because Drake's been this is looking great. Drake, go ahead. Oh wow.
So this is just the cover and companion plants. I guess we're well past cover crop now. These are all the companion plants that are growing with it. We let them grow till they get to a certain size, up close to the cannabis, and then remove them because we don't want them to cross contaminate. But they're also amazing, lots of nitrogen fixtures and different lovely blend in here to just add to that life. And then as we chop and drop, it just keeps adding to the fungal and microbial life in there. So it's great. It's funny because last night we joked, someone else joked about having auto flowers in between your full term plants. And I have played around a little bit, but I didn't give them any love. So I only had about 5 or so of the autos take off about the however many I planted. But anyway, so these are just little autos. They're going to grow in between these. And then we've got a few different plants here in which I actually shot myself in the foot with most of these. So they're not really growing that great. They are picking up and they're getting happier. But what I did was I put out plants in my silly mind that were big and happy. But what I actually did was put out plants that were just in pots for too long and were semi-root bound, and then had to correct to that. And that's never a great thing to do to your plants. So they're taking a lot longer to really excel and kick off. But we do see some pretty fun growth. Here, this plant is this is the Roberts Creek Congo, and she's just so funky. Really, really neat. So I can't wait to see her when she really explodes and looks like.
Beautiful.
And then I believe this is the My Little Pony from Johnny's. I'm really excited for this as well, just to see how it does outside, because it was just very, very prolific indoors and interesting. But lots of these don't necessarily want to finish in time here. So it's going to be cool to take some of our Jadam practices and use different, essentially, inputs and timing of them in ratios to force senescence and force the flower to know when to switch and when to start flowering, when to start finishing. So we'll definitely report back and see how that works. You can see some of these are getting, quite a bit happier now. It's a decent size leaf, but nothing insane. It's a catnip, and then there's another auto. Kind of hard to see, but in the dark back there, that's doing its thing. I had them in between most plants, but as I said, I gave them no love, and most of these don't. It's very pretty well weekly watering, so it's not like they got to any sort of conditioning as seedlings. So the ones that took off are the ones that were strong enough to go. This one was a smaller plant, a little bit less root bound, but root bound nonetheless. But even just from the size it is and how much growth it's had, you can see how much happier of a plant overall it is. You can see a couple little things on the leaves here just from nature, but yeah, they're coming along. This one's very happy for one of the most root bound plants that I put out. So sometimes they take off well, but that's still, you don't want to do it. It's like we keep having this analogy of a race car, and essentially I put out just like a little city Volkswagen, but it's catching up. It's slowly getting there.
Well, the judge will be at the end of the year, because I put out some really crappy plants last year. And I've put out some crappy plants in the years past, and it's amazing what they'll do.
There's my judge. She's my judge. She's your judge? The ruling order of the garden, and I'll explain why right now.
Okay, go ahead.
These plants, both of these, what do we got here? I'm seeing an insane in the membrane, and the other one's hiding in the crop. I think it's two insanes in the membranes. The cultivar, I won't speak on it. Well, I will speak on it. It's a solid cultivar, so I'm not going to say it's anything to do with the different cultivars necessarily. But these plants were 6 to 10 times the size of these plants when I put them out at the same time. So what I did was put out same thing. What I thought was these great, tall, happy, plants that were in 4 gallon, 5 gallon, mind my not recalling, but yeah, in rather large pots. put them out here. Did they got mycos, they got a couple things they need, but mainly they got our applications, our microbial products, our JMS, so on and so forth, not like a off the shelf one. But anyways, you can see they're taking off. They're doing okay. But as I mentioned, lady over there is planted about 10 times, 6 times for sure smaller. And I got to be careful because I don't really walk on the beds at all here, so I kind of have to just mind my footing on the birch, because you don't want to add any compaction to the soil. The soil does enough to itself, and I got some pretty thick soil coming along. But when we get a little bit more intimate here, just the rate this plant is exploding. This was race car. This plant was put out, and it was put out properly, and it's got all the right treatments, and like it's just it's a beast.
And it's a clone, right?
Yeah, these are clones. This isn't just, it's not.
See, that's
not,
just crazy to me. Like, I would have been like, oh, come on, you planted that from a seed. Come on.
And no,
wow.
They were in a, that's the, like, so I would definitely agree that seedlings would do better. Oh, I got a spider crawling up the rim of my hat. That they would do better. But as long as you get them out there properly, and they're happy from the start, then you're gonna most likely have some good results.
Yeah. So as we were talking, like, so 3 weeks in a pot, and then 3 weeks in a pot, and 3 weeks in a pot. You should be moving them up like every 3 weeks is kind of what we were talking, wasn't it?
Yeah, generally no more than a month. That's kind of a rule of thumb. And then if you want to just be cautious, you can go a little earlier. Again, if your parameters aren't great and you're not having proper growth, then you may find that you're crumbling and not having any root growth. But then you're going to have to know you have other things to address first. And then just things like our raspberries have taken off in ways that are paranormal. It's almost a battle with these things. So we're super excited, and I can see now that we have lots that are actually just finishing, finished and ready to pick, compared to yesterday. They were just starting. And we got multiple cultivars. I'm really excited for this lady over here. It's a comatose that was a bag seed, but it was a rare find in just went through a half pound. So yeah, excited for that. And there's numerous other ones I can't quite remember. And then back here, I just took apart this shed where the little ducks were, and that's because we had rats and actually found a bunch of baby rats, and about 4 adults. Again, another nest underneath the floor, so it's a bit of a nightmare. Quickly show what I was up to yesterday in the 35-degree heat.
Wow, you did a lot. You got a lot done, Drake.
I had to add some bedding for the duckies, and I'm not going to stay here too long because this is still a bag that's full of a lot of like mouse droppings. So essentially, these ruts were completely filled, and there was a floor over top, so completely filled with some of the hay and garbage and rat droppings and nests. So they'd been just for however long pulling things under there, because in our area,
look at those raspberries.
They're coming along. This whole hill has a bunch of rats over the last 7 years. So we're kind of all plagued. And it's a very large area, in a nice area too. So it's unfortunate. But I see some escape artists. A couple escape artists are on
let's see them. Let's see
on
them.
the wrong side of the fence here. I'm inside. I'm in jail. They're out of jail. And just for me, they're making a mess all over the place. So I get to clean it up.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's a guilty face if I ever seen one. I looked like she just laughed at me, I think.
I think they are laughing at you. I think they're laughing at you. Haha, you're in the cage. We're out.
Pretty much. Oh, and look, and then we got some bees that are just loving this
Virginia creeper. Yeah.
And
that stuff can be invasive, though. Oh my.
Here, and I'll give you guys and girls, everyone out there, anyone, a good rendition or a good idea of what Tara means by it can be rather invasive.
And Drake, we have Grayson that has joined us. So Grayson, if you give us just a minute, as soon as Drake's done, we'll take a garden tour with you. How's that?
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, go ahead, Drake.
Cheers, and yeah, sorry, I'm limited by my phone here, so I heard a ding.
Yeah, he can't see. Yeah, he can't see what's going on.
But yeah, so here, I just wanted to show for everyone and anyone, this Virginia creeper was 4 to 5 feet tall last year, and we were kind of maintaining it, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with it because it was kind of going over to my plants, because when I set the trellising up, yay high or so, they want to sneak over. So this spring, I propped it up that direction. It was actually last fall, I tied a couple strings up that way, so there was like a foundation for it to go to. But then there's this spring, I really started like, starting the little ones over there and tying them over. And yeah, since spring, we have this. It's almost miraculous. The plant itself can be a little bit messy. Like right now, when it's just unflowering, it's got lots of pollen. So as I've got it draped over our deck, it's beautiful to sit in there. But now there's lots of pollen. That being said, there's a ton of bees. It's just humming, which I didn't really expect. And then in the fall, it goes from this beautiful green to this lovely, lovely red, like this deep, deep red. And we're letting it take over the side there and the gutters because I don't mind, and I'll have to, we'll get to there eventually. This is just the plastic with the sunroof.
Dude.
So, well, it's not even gutters was the improper term. It's not even gutters right now. It's just a frame.
I'm like, they're gonna rip your gutters off. Those are gutters. Oh my gosh! Wow, look at those things take over. That's crazy.
And it's thick. This is 3 feet, 4 feet thick, and I've been maintaining it pretty heavily. So
awesome.
I'll get you back inside.
All right, and looks like we've got Sun Grown on here. Let me spotlight him for everyone. Here we go. Let's see what he's got going on. Oh, we got some sunflowers. Welcome, Gray Sun. How are you? Not Sun Grown. Gray Sun Grow.
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm good.
What we got growing on?
This right here is just my little outdoor garden. I don't know. Can you guys hear me? Actually, it was only my second time on Zoom, so.
Yep, we can see it. We can see hollyhocks and is that beans in the front? No, what are those little plants in the front?
Right here in the front, this is actually some sunflowers.
Oh, they're sunflowers. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
are they those miniature ones?
No, this is a second generation from these giant. Yeah, I took the seeds from last year and replanted them. And these giant ones right here in the background, that's actually what these are as well. It's really cool. You can see all the different phenotypic variations.
Yes.
And actually, what I was looking for was I was trying to get more single-headed ones, but I ended up with mostly ones with a whole bunch of extra side branching on them. I did get one good one right here that I'm really excited to harvest the seeds from.
So how I understand it, the big, huge ones are hybrids. And when they're bred outside, this is why they're very hard to get your own flower, just like we do when we cross things back with other cultivars. You can't actually get the same flower, is how I'm understanding it, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, almost you can never get, if you plant the seeds from the second generation of hybrids, they're never going to be the same.
Just like tomatoes. So there's certain tomatoes out there. If you buy tomato seeds and you keep the seeds, they're not going to get them. You have to have an heirloom variety or a cultivar or however you call them in different crops. I'm not sure. But if you don't have that, they are all hybrids, unfortunately. So go ahead.
Yeah, and actually, this is only my second year doing this garden, but the first year we just went to Walmart and mostly we got a bunch of, burpee hybrids. But this year I just collected the seeds from most of them, and also I found a local seed bank that has heirloom varieties. So I have a few heirlooms going on right now. I have this golden bantam, I believe it's called, corn. I just have
okay, so with the corn, as soon as the tassels go on top, which you have, is the pollen shaking off the tassels yet? As soon as it does, if you put a not a plastic bag, a paper sack over it and let the pollen fall down onto the corn, it'll pollinate it better. Each one of those silk fibers that come out of your corn, when you have a corn cob, each one of those silk fibers has to be pollinated and it produces a kernel of corn. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's so cool. I found that out when I was like 16 in my first garden.
Yeah, so you have to plant, normally if you plant corn, you have to plant it in big square patches, not long single rows. And if you do, you have to put like something over the top so that the pollen actually falls back onto the pollen itself, onto the plant itself, and doesn't blow away. That's the reason.
I'm definitely going to be trying that out. I've been out here just breaking off little pieces and just kind of hand pawing them down here on the one little corn I do have going.
Yeah, and you can do that too. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Actually, I planted a round of them, the first round of them, and only one of them survived. So it's a little bit ahead of all the other ones. So I was kind of worried about it getting pollinated, but I think it's doing all right. But I know I was also going to show you. He was talking about planting some 6 plants outside, and that's what I have right here. I'm not ashamed to show it because it happens. I actually just had my daughter born, my first daughter on the 9th. And so during that week,
Congratulations!
yeah, thank you so much. But during that time, I was just completely neglecting my plants, basically. So that's what these guys are out here. They're recovering. This one right here, this is a great white shark that I got from MSNL. And it just basically has like every single thing wrong with it you can think of. Like, it's just all bad. And then
The sun
this
will
one,
bring it back.
oh yeah. This one right here, actually, I just got from my neighbor who I found out is growing as well. It's pretty cool. It was nice meeting him and having a little neighbor I could trade vegetables with and cuttings and stuff. And then these 4 little guys, these are a couple super freaks from Humboldt Seed Company. And
Oh, nice.
they are just looking, this one right here is starting to come back.
Oh, I totally want some of that. I hope you don't lose it. Oh my God, I want that one so bad.
I still have like, I think like 15 more of the seeds. So I actually tried to plant some out here, direct sow them, but with this Arizona heat out here, I'm out here in Arizona, they just didn't make it at all. And plus, as you can see, I don't have any mulch right now. I need to really get some mulch in here.
Yeah, some straw, and you can just go cut weeds and make your own mulch. In fact, I found out last year by putting green mulch on, like actually like cut grass, it actually held the moisture in a little bit better. Kind of liked it.
Oh yeah.
Something about that because I was worried about putting the green mulch down for some reason.
Nope, I put green right on my garden. I'll pull the weeds and lay them down, and then I'll even put dry straw over the top of that. And the worms just love to go in and out of that fresh stuff. It's not a problem. Looks like you got worm bins and compost pins. Look at that.
I don't have the worm bins yet. That's my next thing that I want to work on. Out here though with this heat and my I'm really limited on space as well. So doing them indoors would be kind of hard, and I've already get a lot of flack from my girlfriend for how cluttered I keep the house. I'm a little bit of a pack rat. But yeah, I still got me some compost going out here, and I'm working on getting the worms. Like I said, I've been actually doing some research on African night crawlers. I heard about them from Scoot, actually. I was on a Humidor show where I see you guys as well. I love them. And yeah, so I'm looking into African night crawlers because they can withstand the heat. I guess the only thing I have to worry about though is that they're runners. So if they don't like their environment, they'll basically just jump out and they'll all be on my floor. Yeah, I got a little bit of going
you know,
here.
so someone else, I think it might have been Matthew Zentinel. He was, or one of the guys that's really big into that. He was saying you could just make basically like a round fence thing in your garden and just kind of throw some leaves in it and grass in it and kind of let it, you know, like a cylinder, and kind of let it do its own thing and put your worms in that. And so I actually threw one out in my garden last year, just a big round cylinder, and I was throwing stuff in it. And this year I went and picked it up and it was crazy loaded with worms of its own. So yeah, I was really surprised.
I think that was kind of the thing too, is then you get kind of your own indigenous worms and stuff.
Yeah.
Indoor scenarios, you got a little more room to play with, but for quite a few of these different worms, like there's the story where all the fishermen, they kept discarding all their worms in the forest after they would fish, and they actually decimated a large part of this ecosystem because they're very invasive, and then they eat too much and they change the ratios in the soil and can be quite damaging to your local environment. So it's a minor thing, but it's definitely something we have to consider for sure, because lots of these things we do, even as when we're trying to be more regenerative and sustainable, we can kind of be shooting our environment in the foot just with our lack of understanding the whole picture. But this is beautiful. You have such a beautiful garden. Thank you so much for coming and showing. And you're a little quiet, and I'm super ADD, so my apologies if I've cut you off at all. But yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, no. You know what it is I have my headphone, and I could probably actually turn it off, and it would probably sound a little better, because I was wondering if you guys would like to see my indoor grow real quick.
We'd like to see it.
Definitely. Do you want me to remove spotlight till you get there?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, I'll remove spotlight till you get there.
And if you have any normal protocol or anything you follow, definitely we can take a minute. We can give you a second and have a dab.
Let's take a dab.
Any SOPs for us?
Oh yes. No, I'll say unfortunately I don't have any SOPs, but out here in Arizona we actually don't have to worry about too many pests. I mean,
awesome.
I get
it's pretty hot.
Knock on wood
Yeah,
for
a
you.
little bit of aphids out in my garden. I've never had tracked them indoors, and also I have a little bit of gnats in there. But I mean, it's no big deal.
Dude,
The
with the with the
population literally doesn't get out of control, so I'm all good.
There you go.
okay. We find the naps are kind of just, especially if you're working on tailoring an indoor living soil type of system. They're around for sure. And yeah, it's definitely it's a pain in the butt, but it's never a bad idea to derobe when you're dealing with them. Even myself here, just because I went outside, I'm not going in my grows or anything, but you'll notice the
Oh,
camera's
look at
off.
that.
If you're really anal, you'll see I changed all my clothes already because I
There
don't
we
want to
go.
be in bug clothes. But please go on. What are we looking at?
So I might be shooting myself in the foot here. I hope I'm not, but now you got me stressing, but I think I'll be all right. What I got going on in here is I have Jack the Ripper and a great white shark. I have it looks like probably two phenotypes going on in these three Jack the Rippers, and I believe these two right here are pretty similar. This one looks like the one that's a little bit different. I started out with a 5-pack. One of them died, and one of them actually came out. It was a male, but it also had this strange like variegation in the leaf. I don't know. And then over here are these great white sharks, and these are both cuttings. These are actually all cuttings in here because, like I said, when my garden was neglected, the plants were looking real bad. So I basically just regenerated them all. I took a cutting from all of them and then just started them all over again. And out here in Arizona, it's so humid. I hear everyone talking about dehumidifiers all the time, but out here we have to have humidifiers. So I have this in here, and I mean, even with the humidifier, let me show you. I kind of have a little ghetto setup in here because I'm in such a small space. I had to go old school style with this closet bro. So out here, where my cup is is actually where my meters are. You see, I'm running 51%. Oh, and this. Well, I'll talk about the parts per million in a minute. And then I have the AC Infinity fan pumping air through the wall right there.
That's rad.
So underneath this thing, this is going to scare a lot of people. Definitely a little bit of a safety hazard here. You know, you can't even see because it's so dark, but there is another AC Infinity 4-inch fan in there with that little white guard on it that I actually just stick a piece of a filter in for air filtration. And the parts per million, because I have a gas stove and my air is getting sucked in from underneath the sink, which is right next to my gas stove, I constantly have like ridiculous levels of CO2, like ridiculous. Look at 2,335. And I've been thinking about it. That might actually be a little too high. I don't know, but the plants look good. So, oh, hey, Randy, are you helping me? Now, for lighting, I'm using a HLG 350R. And up here, I have the cocoa filter attached to the other side of that AC Infinity.
Yeah.
Really dirty right now. And I have this little cool fan I found that constantly keeps the air moving around in here. The only problem is it has a natural timer on it that automatically shuts it off after 7 hours. So I have to come here and push the button. But other than that, yeah, they're doing great. And as far as my soil goes, I actually use a very, hey, well, go ahead. Have at it. He loves eating plants. I'm sure
Yum, yum.
knows that they just love eating plants. A lot of times trimming, he'll just be rolling in the pile of leaves and just chewing on them, having a good old time. But with the soil, I'm using a variation of a peat mix. So I use a sphagnum peat moss, perlite, and I also got some. It's this local guy who makes a fertilizer. It's called Mike's Magic Mix, but it has all kinds of good stuff in it. And then I also like to supplement with malted barley. And what was the other one? Oh, and for this mix for my compost, because my compost isn't along yet and I don't have any worm castings, I actually purchased the Build a Soil Malibu mix.
Oh, nice.
And other than that, they're looking pretty good. I mean, they have a little bit of deficiency going on, but I just gave them some fertilizer, so hopefully that'll come back. I gave them some of that Mike's Magic Mix stuff.
Yeah.
And these ones are looking a little wonky because I just took a cutting. I took the meristem off of all of these for backups before I flower. And that's it.
Well, awesome. Thanks for showing us your area. I love that you're growing in a small space and you're showing that and how what can be done in a small area. That's awesome.
What size is
Absolutely.
the?
You know, I always hear you inviting people on the show, and no one ever comes on. So I was like, I'm going to come on here. So even though it's not that much of a grow, you know, I'm still proud of it. And it gets me
No,
back.
no, I love small grows. Like I don't want to do a small grow but I respect it because it's a lot of work and effort and time goes into this. Wow, it looks great.
Is it like a 2x4? Did you mention? Sorry.
Yeah, that's about the dimensions. It's actually a little bit smaller than that. It's more like 18 inches by 40 inches. But
Wow.
Wow. Yeah,
I do
look
have
at
lots
that.
of height there. I have
Yeah.
84 inches of height, so I'm good on that.
Height is nice, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. This is a really throwback to like some of my first rows I did when I was a teenager. Like I remember my first one, I think I had a heat lamp with like not even a compact fluorescent stuffed in there. I grew one plant. I didn't know anything about male or females, but you know, it was great. It was a cool learning experience.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
just
I remember
awesome.
a
And
couple of
definitely
weeks ago.
please hang out for the rest of the show. If you want to just hang out with us and smoke with us, you're definitely welcome, or you can jump back and chat, whatever you want to do. I'm going to leave it up to you.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here because I actually have to take my girl to her first
Okay.
doctor's.
Well, I am going to take a dab because congratulations on your first daughter. Like, let's have a dab for that and celebrate that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's a super rad setup. That's a
I'm not going to join you because I would have to go outside. I don't feel like going back outside there.
no problem. We appreciate you coming on so much, and hopefully that helps encourage some others out there. I mean, you're being humble, but that's a pretty kick-ass system for the limited space, and I love how you're kind of utilizing everything. And you know, you've made some improvements to make it work, right? You've made some adulteration, so it's like a really cool little system. So.
Yeah, it is. And if would you like anybody to follow you? Do you have an Instagram or Facebook you'd like to shout out?
You know what? Yeah, sure. Because actually, over here in Arizona on November 3rd, when legalization passed for rec mainly, I actually started a Discord, and it's called the Central Arizona Cannabis Cultivators Community. But
Beautiful.
unfortunately, when I found out my girlfriend was pregnant, I was going through some things. And it's funny that you guys mentioned microdosing because that's actually what helped me get through that. And maybe some other time I could come on and speak on that. But anyways,
Love that.
So yeah, if you guys would like to follow me, my Instagram is Gray Sun Grow, just like on my name on the screen. And unfortunately, like I said, I've been neglecting the Discord. They might have even disbanded it in my absence. But if you want to hop on there, I'm recently making a resurgence, and I'm going to try to get back on there and apologize to all of them and get it going again.
Sweet. Well, yeah, please feel free to type that up in chat if you want. But for everyone else out there, just hit him up on Instagram, Grace Ungrown, and then DM him about the Discord.
The Discord link is actually in my profile too, so you can see it up right
Easy peasy. Look at that.
All righty. Well, you guys have a good one. It was good getting on here.
Awesome. Thanks again, Gray. We'll see you around. Love having you. Darth, I would love for you to smoke with me someday. I think anybody that flies into like Spokane, Washington, I'll come pick you up and we'll have a smoke day. Let's do it. Tara's Tours out of Spokane, Washington. It's the closest airport. You'd have to fly into Seattle first. It's international there. Derek's going in on a dab. I just took one after that amazing garden tour that we got to see. Thanks again for coming on.
Awesome.
And your congratulations on your first daughter. That's awesome. More ladies in the world. Yay!
My camera just decided to go a second and a half slow, and it is quite entertaining.
You know what? I didn't know if it was me or you. I'm like, what's going on today? First, that doesn't say that it's actually recording or live. Yeah, all kinds of shit's going on. Woo! I don't know what's going on. Holy cow. Did we miss any questions today in chat? From India.
Whew. That was a dab.
Oh, okay. Most guys' first job is detasseling corn. They do that so every plant is a hybrid. Yes, so they actually make detasseling equipment. I actually know that. They actually go and have these big they're cut, they look like a combine, basically they're like a combine, and they have these it goes up and down the fronts of them. They have these little blades and they just go in the rows and they actually take off the tops. So they actually do. I do know that they do that.
Hey, again, that's very similar to what was brought. Well, not like it, similar concept to like a machine that's able to utilize just these specific growth times and certain things. And like last night we were crisping up, there's certain places that are growing these different two crops together at the same time, at the same plot. And then they've got the machines that come by and come hit, raise the combine 2 feet or something like that, or raise the specific thing they're using. I don't want to misspeak, but yeah. And then they come and they harvest the one, all the tassels, well, not tassels, but all the, I think it was like sort of wheat or grain or something like that. And then they let the second crop grow through and they're able to harvest that. And then the leftover, the first crop is kind of second crop.
So they're basically getting two crops out of one field at one time growing. It's pretty cool. It's a great idea. That's also, similar to cover cropping, because your cover crop also helps add nutrients back into your stuff as well. It's pretty cool. You could also have like herbs and stuff in your garden. You could harvest those and you could get your 2 crops as well if you wanted to do a cover crop around your plants and harvest them. Unplug, hello, how are you? Welcome.
Yeah, I was just going to say, speaking on cover crop, just while we address on it, and then let's jump and say hey to everyone in chat and see what's going on. If we can sneak someone else to give us a show, or at least have another final dab or 2 with us before we hop off. But for myself, what I'm looking for is going to be ideally winter rye and hairy vetch, and then they're in specific proportions that I'm going to cast them out there. And if I'm able to, I'm also going to try and get a winter wheat, barley, and then Sudan grass is a really cool one because you'd plant that almost not right away, but much sooner. And then it kind of gets a different head start. So you have like this diversity of your cover crop, and then cover crop being you cut it down before you plant next season. But yes, we'll jump into that more in the future as we have things come together. But yeah, Tara, let's take it away. Let's see what chat's up to, and I'll get another dab loaded up.
I love that amnesia haze. That would be a good one. I've had a friend in Canada that grew the amnesia haze, and I got to taste this rosin. It was amazing. Amazing.
Very under the sink chemi weird like profile that I found. Like I say chemi, but I don't mean like it's big. It's a bad misnomer that I say all the time, because then you instantly think like a chem dog, like chem flavor. But it's more like literally like chemicals that are from under the sink that are like not necessarily like a lemon base, but some sort of like crazy, just makes your nose fire up. Kind of, it's an odd one. I don't necessarily have a smell to put to it ever, just that profile. I don't know, was it similar to yourself when you experienced the rosin?
Do you look as funny on YouTube as you do on here? that slow autumn, you're like almost slow-mo in this camera. It's
like if the lag
so weird. Like I wonder what's going on. Yeah, what's going on YouTube?
It's just our usual shenanigans.
Like
antics over here.
Yeah, like I hope it looks okay on that. And I'm like, do you want to leave and come back?
If I leave, I'm gone for good. You'll never find me again.
Out of here. I'm out of here. Does it look okay on YouTube, and you guys? There's Drake like looking like a robot to you all. He looks robotic to me. I don't know. This whole thing is just, today's been like, I've had a great day hanging out with all y'all. It's just been a weird day today. Is it like a full moon out or something? I haven't checked the moon cycle, y'all. Oh, we are changing over to isn't it like, didn't we just have like the longest day? And when is the solstice? Do we know when that is? I think we just had it, or we're coming up on the solstice. Let's see if Drake's coming back in on. Now what's he coming in on? That looks like his phone.
And I couldn't press the darn button. I'll give you the old spin around.
No, I was just gonna say, just rejoin on your computer. It's probably just a glitch.
You'd never imagine that it coincidentally died at the exact same time as we were bringing that. So that wasn't planned. That was just the screen just went black.
Oh my
So
God.
I was trying to pull a fast one, but now I'm busted. But
That's
see, I
awesome.
better check what my phone's at here. I can't even see because of Zoom. So while I watch, I am going to disappear for good.
So, well, maybe we should go ahead and just take a dab. We'll say we have an awesome chat with y'all. It's been awesome. We'll be back on Saturday. We're gonna have an awesome show on Saturday. Don't know what we're doing yet. I think we might have a few guests coming on. I don't know yet. We're working on it. I don't like to say until it's for sure because things happen. Life happens. We happen. Weed happens. What the hell? Weed happens. I gotta clean this banger out. I messed up and didn't clean my banger out. Whoops. Party foul. Shame. Dab foul.
Now I have to dab the old oil.
No.
You have to heat up and dab the old oil. That's the punishment.
No.
I wouldn't want that game.
No, we don't do that.
You'd stop leaving it behind real quick.
16 hours of light. Nice. Wow. Okay. Where are we at? Are we on solstice yet? I was just saying.
Yeah, just passed. It was either
just said, yeah, June 21st. Yeah, it was the 21st. Okay. Thanks, Claude. I thought it was. Okay. Thanks, Garth. And also, please share with everybody. Let's help get this word out so we can build this community and hang out with more people, cool people. You guys are awesome in chat. I had a great day with you all. Drake, any final words today while I get ready to take this last stab with our awesome, amazing chat?
Oh, I'm going to jump into some Ghost Train Haze. So
that sounds
I wouldn't
good.
be upset if those were some of my final words. That would do me justice if those were the last ones that came out. Going on some Ghost Train Haze. And I'm glad for everyone that came in. And as Tara said, please come on in, smash that old like button, subscribe, hit it up, because there's no other way to promote the industry, the community, and to ideally, just like earlier, have people come on and network, and we get to meet each other and see each other's super cool and innovative setups. I mean, if you were thinking that you don't have the space to grow, I bet you're second thinking it now. Now it's just coming down to, can you allot the funds to set this up, and do you have a little bit of space under your sink, and how long is the wife gone for? So that's
Or the husband.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly. Or husband. I love it, Tara. Yeah.
Or husband.
It was situational, and
because it's a fight on my end too. It's funny. I know.
It is, and you are a perfect example now, aren't you? With the trees in the garden, with the taking over the inside, freeze dryers. Yeah, it goes anyway. It's all about the passion.
Cheers, everyone. I hope you have an awesome, healthy, high, and super elevated day out there. Whoa, that was a good one. I went on the vanilla, not vanilla. Vanilla. I wish I had vanilla. I had vanilla fish. I went in on the lemon one again. Took it a little hotter than usual. Kind of gives me that extra pep in my step. So thanks again, everybody, for being here. And we will see you back again on Saturday morning live. And I think we're going to be hanging out over on Twitch, by the way. We have a friend hanging out in chat today. I see her just coming in. Her name is Crazy Cass. She's just starting a Twitch channel over there. She's been around forever, but she's going to finally go live. We're going to get her to go live. We're going to go over there and puff with her. We're going to have an awesome time. I think she's going live tomorrow. So look for that, y'all. If we're not live, we'll be live over there. So have a beautiful day, and we'll see you on the next live. Peace and love as always. Cheers.
Just in case, I'm going in on Ghost Train Haze.